and Americans, you know, they had fought for the country and they were given, they were promised that they were going to get, money back, but they didn't have no money in the treasury because of the depression. So what happened is they I think, right, if I remember correctly, they were given some type of like treasury note or some bill or some shit that could have been redeemed at a later date. But then the recession hit, right? The economy hit, and so like they didn't have no motherfucking money to, they were waiting on the to get the funds that they were owed, but after for fighting in the war, and they had a wife, right? And they depended on them, and the wives, they had to leave their wives at home, and they marched together to the White House back like 120 years ago, and they went there and they built their little shacks on the lawn and shit, like right outside the White House and shit, and they're like, we're not leaving till we get paid because we need to go and bring our they didn't want to go home to their wives. They're like, we're not leaving until we give us our money. You give us our money that we're owed from the government, right? So we can take home and give it to our family. You know what I mean? And because they're going through a depression, right? And you know what they did? So like it's kind of sad because like even in my own country and shit, like, but the point is that men always did shit for women, and it's like there was the responsibility to do that. You know what I mean? That's they like it was up to the men to stand up to their government to pay them to so they could support their family. You know what I mean? It's embarrassing. And they said that they were like, you know, they have there's I don't know there's like footage of this. You know what I mean? And there was like an interview and they said, you know, um, we're embarrassed. Like our women are at home. You know what I mean? And she doesn't want to come out. She's embarrassed. I mean, and like back in the day, you had to remember that men were in society. They're the one that handled the stuff. You know what I mean? They were the ones that handled the stuff, and they were the ones that would be social. This was before human women suffrage. You know what I mean? And like women weren't that involved in the nation. You know what I'm saying? So like which is to say that they were uneducated and they were stay at home moms, and and they relied on their husbands. You understand what I'm saying? So and the husbands, they weren't exactly geniuses neither, but they were GIs, and they wanted their payment. You know what I mean? And the government didn't want to pay them. So what they did was they went there and they fucking started setting up camp, right? Like they were GI, so they started making sheds. They cut down trees, started burning wood, and they started fucking making sheds like right there, right on the motherfucking lawn of the house, of the White House. And they camped there. They said we're not gonna leave it till we get paid. The fucking president at the time and the people, he sent out a war general with a horse and shit, and they fucking destroyed it. And they went there and they drove them all out. They destroyed the fucking sheds. They burned the sheds. They said, and they drove all of them out. Pushed them back towards the river. You know what I mean, and shit. And the men were like, we're here because our wives are embarrassed. They're like our wives are. He said something about like the wives. They're like it says you're embarrassing our wives or some shit, or our wives are embarrassed because of us, or it's like the whole situation was just like you're not paying us and we're poor and like we fought for you motherfuckers. And so it's like I don't know what the word is. It was just something about that made me think like literally women had to rely on men in those times. I mean, and it wasn't an embarrassing thing. You know what I mean, for men to not be able to bring home. You see, what women don't understand is they look at it like oppression. They don't understand that a man was helping them survive. Not only that, but that it all fell on the man. The pressure, the performance to having to bring back and go against your own government just to, you know what I mean? I think it's like our wives won't look at us. You know what I mean? And stuff like this, or something like that. So it's like women don't understand that like the type of shit that men had to go through, you know what I mean? And how we only wanted the best for you, right? How much we care about you and shit. And it's like you see these old men, you see these people, they're all mad, they're all fucking smoking tobacco, they're fucking like they're fucking upset back in the day, you know what I mean? And it was like you see everybody in the depression era and they're all like upset, you know what I mean? They're all depressed. It's sad, But that's how a lot of people were back then. I mean, why smile? Emotions didn't even exist. Emotions didn't weren't they're not real, right? And these bitches talking about you think emotions don't matter. Emotions aren't real when it comes to your survival. I mean, emotions get in the way of you thinking logically to survive, right? The only reason you're logical is because you live in a sedentary life, a spoiled life, where you never had to suffer for real. You never fucking had to never learned how to defend yourself. And you never had to learn you think logically and think about survival. You had a lot of fucking time on your hands. As to say, right, that this effect, right, doesn't really matter in terms of your survival. Wait a minute. Wait, what was the point? As to say that, oh, I don't know, I was late. But the point is that, like, women don't understand that for a man, that is the thing that that is so much pressure on us, and we would go to the end of the earth, we'd fucking go to whatever for you. But now in this day and age, I'm glad that y'all can go to have your education, and even coming from a third world country, that they're still kind of stuck in those times where they didn't have, women didn't. Well, I don't know. We like a civil war, but so everything was fucked up. But I come from a place where they had a lot of femicide, which means they killed women. Terrorists killed women, and you know what I mean. And the point is that, um, I see women here, and they have these things at their fingertips, and they have everything. What more could they want? Like, what are they crying about? Like, imagine living in a country where they couldn't have babies, and they'd be fighting for the right to have a baby. Like, this was gonna happen. Women later are gonna be wanting to have their baby, and then everybody, no, because abortion. Women want to get married, but no, because they're whores. You know what I mean? And men are whores and shit, and too, because they're gonna adapt. I mean, at one point you're gonna be like, this is stupid. It's just that America, of a public opinion, is fickle. That, like I said, they swing left and right and all this shit, and there's the pendulum swinging left and right. It's not common sense. It's emotional, irrational. You know what I'm saying? Type of stances that's unhealthy and destructive. And the fact that y'all questioning our very existence, and they're like, don't bring God into it. Like, well, you got time to fucking kill. I mean, the thing is that while y'all chasing your non-imaginary trails and you want to have kids at your own discretion whenever the fuck you want to, I mean, that shit is preventing real men from having children and from being married, and it's leaving us a life full of fucking desperateness, embarrassment, and the fact that we gotta hold back. You know what I mean? Not tears, but motherfucking, wrath on you. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? We gotta hold back from killing you and killing motherfucking stupid ass fuck niggas. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, we have casualties. You know what I mean? We have people that don't make it. I mean, suicide, male suicide. They say, that women have it so easy. Men kill themselves like one every 3 minutes or so. No, three every minute, or how much is it? I mean, like,